Also, you'll be happy to know that even though I'm not a morning person, I don't drink coffee, so there'll be no sequence of me brewing coffee out here by the waterfalls. So you don't have to worry about that at all. Nor do I have a jet boil, so I won't be eating any dog food out of a bag either on this video. In case you were wondering. I'll just be taking crappy pics. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who know me, you know I'm not a morning person by any stretch. So finding me out shooting at just before 8 in the morning is going to be a rare sight. So I'm in Ohio, close to Cincinnati, at a Cedar State Park where you can find the Horseshoe Falls. I am down here by myself. I've had the parking lot to myself and the trail to myself and the falls to myself. The reason I've had the falls to myself is because they're not much of a falls right now. It's more of a bunch of trickles. But this time of year, I guess I wouldn't expect the falls to be raging. If you Google some images of Horseshoe Falls, it's actually quite beautiful at the right time of year. This is not the right time of year. That said, I'm going to try and get a couple of photos. On the hike in, I did stop by a cool little area on the lake where there was some opportunities for compositions there. The woods where I'm at, it is late in the season, so there's a few leaves, but there's no real color anymore. The woods themselves are very dense, so it's hard to pick out trees to do any kind of woodland. So I'm going to concentrate on seeing what I can do with the falls here. Now, it's not a great volume of water coming down these falls, but there are some cool rocks below the falls. I will do some, some longer exposures and see if we can make something, at least usable out of it, if for nothing else. I'll get some photos. I may actually pull out the long lens and see if I can do some more intimate shots of the water coming through the stones, because the stones themselves are beautiful, the way they're laid out and the way the edge of the cliff is built. I don't know if it's built or if it's man-made or if it's a natural forming. It's actually pretty cool. I would almost guess it is a natural forming, because if you look at the walls behind me, they're all just kind of been layered as well. So I would bet that is, natural. I will make a note to come back here in the spring next year, although I do believe when I come back it'll be packed with people, which rightly so it should be. It's a beautiful area. But coming back next spring will definitely be the best time to come, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm going to, look for some compositions and kind of go from there. Nikon, could you make a camera that flips up this way for me, please? So I'll show you what I'm framing up here. I've moved over so that I can still get all that section of the water that's coming down the falls, and still have some of these rocks in the foreground with the polarizer cutting through that glare. The background, or the big ground, is kind of this water. The background, I guess, would be the falls, and A little bit of brush in the back, so that's what I'm looking at right now. Let me make sure the polarizer is polarizing. There we go. So we are at f18 for 3 seconds at ISO 100 at 24 millimeters. I do want to make sure that f18 is probably a little bit closed off, but I want to make sure I have the shutter speed long enough to get that kind of drag in the water. I feel like this polarizer isn't giving me as much polarization as maybe I expected. I don't know if that's because it's maybe a cheap polarizer. When you see the images, let me know if it's my polarizer, if it's just, that's kind of the way things go. I feel like there's still some reflection or some glare on that water, and those kind of white spots you see in the front of the photo, in the foreground. I can't seem to get rid of them at all, and maybe it's because it's got a cheap polarizer. I don't know. Yeah, if you notice in the comments, if you have a moment, you see the photo. If it looks like something I did, like I said, that's what I use for my circular polarizer. I don't know much about it. I know it wasn't as expensive as some of the better brands, and maybe that's my problem, is I try to cheap out, and that's what you get when you cheap out. So that could be possible. Now I'm going to go with the 70 to 200 and maybe try and do some a little bit more intimate scenes and see if I can do something with that. I think I've got a shot with the 70 to 200 back here. The problem is, well, not really a problem, there's just no color anywhere. Everything's very brown. I like the composition, but there isn't much else to it. I could do black and white, but it's kind of boring. You know what? There's some light coming. Maybe I'll wait a little bit and see what I can find when the light hits. I've got plenty of time, nowhere to go, so I've had to switch to the Z6 for recording the video, since the Z50, the battery just died. So here's the composition with the 70 to 200. Again, I can't get, well, I can. I mean, I could go in tighter. If I went in tighter, I could do something like this. But that doesn't necessarily excite me. So I don't think that's the option I want to go. The sun's coming out coming up slowly. You can see it on the right side. I'm kind of waiting to see if I get any sun kind of down this way. If you see, can you see that? No. Let's see, down this way. If I get some sun out of there, it might be kind of pretty. So I'm gonna wait and see that, because maybe I can catch something at that point that'd be worth it. But I do have to pull back. Oop, there you go. Just kind of wait and see now. It's starting to light up a little bit on the inside there. So I'm going to hang out and see if there's any kind of cool sun hits that middle part. All right. There's something to be said about waiting and taking your time for landscape photography. I waited because the shot I had originally, it was a little bit bland, so I thought if the sun comes up and can kind of illuminate some of what's in the background, which you can see now, that might make for a more attractive shot. So I spent a good hour, which was kind of nice, just snapping photos as the sun came up and lighting up the kind of the leaves and the trees in the background. There isn't a whole lot, but there is some that catches some of the sun. I thought it'd make for a good warm, kind of soft waterfall shot. So I waited and I think I got, something that I'm somewhat happy with. I'll have to make a point of coming back next spring when the water level is a little bit higher, obviously. You can see the whole breadth of the falls here. That's the whole Horseshoe Falls right there. Not a good time of the year to shoot it, obviously. But again, my travel dictates kind of when I can come out and do these things. So maybe this is more of a scouting trip than anything else, so I know how to come back here next spring. But I'll definitely come back, and I think I've got some compositions in mind that when I come back now, I can pull out and use. So that's going to be it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. My goal is to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. That leaves me, 30 some odd subscribers left to get there. 2/3 of the people watching this video are not subscribers, so if you like what you see and you've enjoyed it, then please consider subscribing and liking the video. That helps a lot. And thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.